Right, so in this lecture, let's see what is smoke testing and how do we do that. Right, so smoke testing can also be called as a sanity testing, but most of the people do not agree and say that there is a difference between smoke and sanity testing. But just Google them. Every website have their own definition of showing smoke and sanity testing. Ideally, you will not find one common definition everywhere for smoke and sanity. Okay, so if you come into the reality, smoke and sanity are almost same and they are same thing. In few companies, managers use the word called smoke testing, and in few companies, few people call it as sanity testing. Okay, in my experience, trust me, both are same, but you will get n number of differences when you go through online. But I'm sure that you will not have one common information everywhere. Every website have their own definition. So what is the smoke or sanity testing? So this smoke test and regression test are related and they are almost similar. The only difference what you have from regression testing is that testing of the smoke is, scope of testing is very less, depth scope. Regression, you need to test so much of critical functionalities, whereas for smoke testing you need not test that much depth and duration of running tests. Okay, now before I talk about the differences, first let's understand when we need this smoke testing. Thereafter I can talk about this definition. All right, so let me go back to my website. We know that we are building register page, right? So in the sprint, we share whole development in set of user stories when we are in agile environment, and one developer will pick to create edit boxes, and one developer will pick to create check boxes, and another one picks to create buttons, and another backend guy will actually get a connection between database after you submit form here. Okay, there are multiple stories picked by multiple developers. Now let's say your sprint started today, and after 2 days of your sprint, a developer called A have written a code to create full name and email address. Okay, now so these two edit boxes he have created and he pushed the code. So when it's deployed, you will see only these two edit boxes, because for now on second day of sprint only these two edit boxes are ready, nothing else. So whenever developer pushes a build, you have to make sure that nothing is breaking. Okay, so regression also says same thing, make sure nothing is breaking, but that comes after entire application or entire development is ready, and before going to release you have to do regression. But for smoke, whenever developer pushes a new code, okay, developer may push code 100 times before going to release. Okay, so on first push he may have developed edit boxes. Okay, so later developer B will come and have the second code commit. You can say code commit or push, whatever. So basically my intention here is to say that new code is added to the existing code. Okay, buttons are added. In third commit, form page is ready, and in the fourth commit, database storage connection is ready. Okay, so now everything is ready. Our whole register page is built in our sprint 1. So when everything is ready, we will go for release. So regression testing comes here. After complete code is built, we will make sure that we test complete application again. Okay, and see that there are no new bugs introduced with this commits. Now where does smoke test comes here? Smoke test comes after each and every commit by developer. You may wonder that, should I test every time the complete application after a developer commits the code? No, you need not test everything like regression. You need to only test high level, very high level, just to make sure that application is up and running and all the pages are loading. That's it. Okay, so when we say smoke, it's just high level. In our case, in this website, if you want to say what are smoke test cases, you need to just verify if home page is loaded and few links are working here and there. That's it. You will not go and enroll in any course in this website and see that if that functionality is working. Okay, that's part of regression. So here we are just making sure that whole application is not down, right? So that type of testing we call as smoke, or some people say sanity testing. Okay, and you can also make sure that logos are present, just courses count. If there are 12 courses expected, just checking if courses count are present, images are present, links are working, home page is loaded. That's it. It should hardly take less than 5 minutes. Smoke test should not run ideally more than 5 minutes, because after a developer pushes a code, we are just checking basic high level to make sure that application is not breaking. That's it. But whereas regression, you will test the complete functionality, like whether user can be enrolled in course or not, if he is able to register, if he is able to log in. Okay, so functionalities will be part of regression, but here you see that just home page is loading, all images are present or not, and see all the courses are there, just less than 5 minutes. So this is where smoke testing comes into picture in your project, and this is where regression testing comes into picture. And this should be done after each and every commit. Whenever developer pushes some new code into your existing code, this has to be run. In general, in modern world, this is automated. Okay, whenever a new code is added to your existing application, automatically the smoke test suite will be triggered. Okay, so there is a tool called Jenkins which does that for you. So more about that you will find this in my automation courses. Okay, so if you are interested, you can check out my courses, development, software testing. I'm just showing where you can learn if you want to go through and see how the frameworks are built, how to have continuous integration for your automation test cases. Okay, so you have that information here in my best-selling #1 course, Selenium. You can check out there. Okay, so basically that Jenkins tool will automatically trigger your test cases after code got pushed into the repository. So if something fails here, and everyone will be alerted, because it will also send an email to whole team saying that smoke test failed and I am reverting my code back. Jenkins will also help us to revert the code back if smoke testing fails. So we generally say that as this is basically checking if application is working, right? If that application itself is not loading, then you have a serious problem in your build, and that will, you have to revert the code. That's what it means. So I know by this time I think you are very clear about what and when the smoke testing is used compared to regression. So now you read this point. The only difference is in the depth scope. So here scope is very high level, but scope of testing and regression is very depth. And duration of running the test, you should not spend more than 5 minutes here. and regression, it depends upon your application complexity, and it typically runs after each and every build. When I say build, it's nothing but a code commit by the developer. It should run every build, after every build, and add the most critical test, okay, just to make sure home page is loading and the links images are working, and automate smoke testing in your CD environment. CD is nothing but continuous development and continuous integration, which is nothing but this Jenkins. Okay, so more, you can learn more about Jenkins from my automation courses. That's out of scope here. So basically, smoke tests will be automated by integrating in Jenkins in most of the matured agile projects. All right, so that's about smoke testing. Just remember that it runs after each and every build, and scope of testing is very light and it should be less than 5 minutes. All right, that's about smoke testing, and I'm glad that you know when to do regression and smoke now, and you will not be surprised if someone asks you to do smoke or regression, because you know what they are and how to use them. All right, so in the next lecture, let's talk about one more testing type. Thank you.